Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified of future videos. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a book that I just could not finish. It's one of the books that I talked about in my May video of the 3 books that I was trying to read in May, and I'll link that video down below, and I'll try to link my overall book review kind of playlist up in the corner if you want. I want to check that out as well. So this book that I'm going to show you is the second book I chose to read for May, and I just couldn't get into it, and I felt really bad. So I pretty much, did not finish, DNF'd it kind of thing, which means did not finish for me. And I feel sad about saying that because I really do try to push through books if I can, in terms of if I'm telling you guys I'm going to read a certain book, I want to finish it. I couldn't. And that was My Husband's Wife. This was by Jane Corey. Now, I've heard good reviews about this. I mean, there's even, there was good reviews on, Amazon. There's good reviews on a Facebook group that I'm in for books. But for some reason, I got over 50 pages read, and it just wasn't holding my attention for some reason. And I feel really bad about that, because the premise of the book sounded good, and I'm just going to go ahead and read the back again for those that didn't watch the previous video. The premise of it sounded good. It even said, when a young lawyer, Lily, marries Ed, she's determined to make a fresh start and leave the secrets of the past behind. Then she takes on her first case and meets Joe, a convicted murderer to whom Lily is strangely drawn, and for whom she will soon be willing to risk almost anything. But Lily is not the only one with something to hide. Her next-door neighbor, Carla, may be only 9, but she has already learned that secrets are powerful things, that they can get her whatever she wants. When Lily finds Carla on her doorsteps 12 years later, a chain of events is set in motion that can only end in one way. So it sounded really good, right? I just could not get into it, and I don't understand why, because the premise of it sounded like something I'd be very much into reading. I've read similar these books before and enjoyed them very much. I just could not get into this one. I don't know what it was. So I'm really curious of your thoughts. If you read this book, what were your thoughts about it? Did you enjoy it? Did you not be able to get into it like I did? Because I give a book, I think I've said before, I probably give a book about 50 to maybe 100 pages. I didn't even want to get past the 50-page mark. I was just like, it just didn't, there was interesting stuff going on, we'll say, and it's not like it was written terribly or anything like that, and I want to emphasize that, it didn't appear like she was a bad writer. It just, for some reason, I didn't have that hook, and I felt I should. I got to the point where she was interviewing the murderer for the first time, and I'm like, oh, okay, but there was something I wasn't connecting to, and I was going to try to push through and finish reading it, but then I'm like, why do that? Why push yourself to read something that you're not enjoying, kind of thing? I know a lot of times books get better as you read them, but I personally just felt like, no, it's time to move on and move on to the next book I want to read. And I do want to say that the only books that I really will push myself to finish reading are ones that my child gifted me for any of my birthdays or Mother's Day or something like that, or Christmas, or ones that people had gifted me. This was one I found at a garage sale, so I have no problem putting this aside and saying, no, I don't want to read it. I do, however, don't know if I should hold on to it and try it again maybe in a few months and see if it grasped my attention then. Maybe I was just reading it at the wrong time. But I don't know. So this book may or may not make it back on my to-be-read shelf. I have a feeling I'm going to end up putting it aside and let somebody else take a crack at it and see if they enjoy it more. But I wanted to come on here because I feel it's important that even when I don't enjoy a book, or if I don't get into a book, to kind of let you guys know. Because in case, you're curious about this book, you may really like it. And that's what I want to know too. Let me know down below, did you read this book? Did you thoroughly enjoy it? Should I give it another chance at some point? That kind of thing. I may not. But I'd like to hear your feedback on it to know whether it was just me, or is it one of these books that, oh, you got to read 100 pages to get into it. And I'm thinking, if a book can't hook me within the first 50 pages-ish, then is it really worth reading? Because that's kind of what's always in my head, is I want 50, sometimes 100, depending on the length of the book. But to me, this book was not that long. So when it's not this long, it really should not take more than 50 pages to get me into it, I would say. And I really apologize for not finishing this, but I do want to say it's important not to feel guilty when you don't finish something, because I think we have that mindset, and I have that mindset where I feel guilty if I don't do a certain thing, and I'm trying to erase that from my mentalness there, being it's okay. So this book, as much as I think I should give it another chance later on, I really think there's a good chance it's not going to make it back on my TBR, and I apologize for that. But I'm hoping at least bringing the book to your attention. You might grab this book and go for it. Like I said, the premise sounds really interesting, so I really hope one of you guys takes a crack at reading this book. Get it from your local library if they have it or something, and let me know what you think. Prove me wrong. That's what I don't mind. Prove me wrong if this was a book I should have kept going on. But that's kind of what this video is about. I just want to pop on really quick because it's, I try on Saturdays to talk about books whether the books relate to weight loss or not, and just kind of like let you know what I'm kind of reading. I will definitely be having more books to be read. The next book I'm going to be tackling is The Girl Made of Clay by Nicole Meyer. I had to look it up real quick. So I really have high hopes for that book. It's one I purchased off of thriftbooks.com, so I have really high hopes for that. So I'm really hoping it's a good book, so that the next review I do will be actually something that's pleasant. So I also have it geared up to have some people help me pick the next books I'm going to read, and that should be kind of interesting. I'm going to do it's almost like I'm going to allow a couple of my friends to pull 3 books off my TBR for me to read in the future. I think it'll be interesting to have somebody else pick what my next book should be, so that should be kind of fun. And again, stay tuned to this channel. I post videos about book reviews, I post about my weight loss, and I try to let you know that they are combined, because if I'm reading, I'm not snacking as much. It keeps my mind off of food because I'm thinking of a good book. And again, if you have any suggestions for any books, comment down below, and if I think they're interesting enough, you may see them in a future book review. And have a great day, everyone.